Hello everybody, and welcome to the next session of our tutorial series about the Balluff guided changeover solution. We have a new software version, and with this version we have new procedures and new functionalities which we want to see right now. The first topic is about the license activation, which we integrated with the new software, and the second part is about new functionalities. Let's start with the license activation. The license activation looks like this. We have different licenses based on the features, which is the basic version including 8 devices and an advanced version with more functionalities and functions. We have a maintenance license for the basic and for the advanced version if you want to have automated update versions or updates about new functionalities and so on. And we have licenses about the number of devices you can use with the software if you want to upgrade from 8 to 32 devices or to 64 or even unlimited number of devices. All these are based on different licenses. The license procedure looks like this. First of all, if you want to activate a license for different functionalities, you have to get a ticket number from the provider, so from Balluff, about the software you're working with. And this ticket number you have to use on the so-called license server, where all the possible licenses are located. First of all, you have to create a license request in your application, which is a file which will be created, and this file you have to upload in the license server to announce that you want to have a new license or an activated license in your application. This license will be created and activated in the license server, again a file, and this file you have to upload again in your application. The last step is to create a recipe, also in the application, again a file, and this file has to be uploaded again in the license server to announce that this license is used now in this specific application. How it looks in practice we will see now in the software itself. To activate a license in the guided changeover solution, you have to go to the help menu, and in the help menu you see here the license management. First thing you have to do is to download the license request, and here you see that a file will be created, and this file you have to use in the license server. If we go to the license server, first of all we have to add here the ticket number which you get from the software provider, which is this one, and go to next, and here you see which kind of licenses are included in that ticket number. Now we want to activate these licenses, and we go to the file-based license transfer because we want to work with these files. And now we select the file which has been created by the application. This file we can activate now with Start the Activation, and after this we can download the activated license and we can use it afterwards in our application. So now we have to go back to our application, and the next step is to import this activated license which has been created on the license server. So this was successfully, and the last step is to create this recipe. This we will download as well, and this recipe has to be used again in the license server under Upload Recipe, and here again we select this created file, and we can upload the recipe now. If we go back to the application, now we see that it's not longer the basic version we are working with, but the standard version. If you want to activate also a maintenance license, for example, to get automatic updates and all these kind of things, it is the same procedure. Now going back to the application again, you see that we are still working with the standard version, but now we have a maintenance end, which is announced here because this maintenance license has to be renewed every year. Second part of the session today is about a new functionality which is called the single detection, and this is about the RFID read-write heads. So based on your application, could be possible to exchange different parts like transport stars or guide rails or carrier units for labels or something like that. You have to exchange based on the bottle size, for example, in the filling application. And in the former version, it was only possible to have a permanent detection of these kind of changed parts. That means that the RFID tag always has to be in front of the RFID read-write head during the whole application. In the new version, we have a new functionality which is called the single detection, and with this it will be possible to read in only one time the current tag and then use it for the application. Based on the application, we can work in different sections. You see that might be possible to work with different transport stars or different guide rails, or as I said, with carrier units for labels or something like that. And you have different tools you have to use based on the bottle size, which is used in this specific format. In detail, for example, on the left side here, you see that it might be possible, again, based on the bottle size, to use different guide rails. And on the left side, you see that here is the permanent detection required because the RFID read-write head is always in front of the RFID tag. On the right side, you see that it might be possible to, or might be necessary to work with different transport stars as well. And these transport stars have an RFID tag always on top here, and here it's not possible to have an RFID read-write head always in front of the text, so here it's necessary to read in the correct change tool only one time and then use it in the application. And this, as I said, is implemented now in the new version. How it works, we will see now in our application. To configure this permanent detection or single detection, we first have to go into the hardware configuration, select our connected master, and then we see that here are already two RFID read-write heads, these two ones here on port number 1 and port number 7 connected. We also have the smart light connected and a smart light indicator also on port 6. So let's configure the two RFID read-write heads. And the first one, the first read-write head, we want to use for the detection of the guide rail. That means this is used in permanent detection. So we apply the actual device here, and now you see that you have the possibility, the opportunity to select if you want to use this device for permanent notification and permanent monitoring. So we select this and give a name, which is maybe guide rail. The second one we also apply, and here we don't use the permanent monitoring, we just leave it as a single detection, and we call this the transport star. Okay, now we can go into one of our recipes. So in the product configuration, let's start with 0.5 liter bottles, and we go to Edit, and you see that we have already different sections here. Section A, we have to configure the guide rail, and in section B we have to configure the different transport stars. So let's start with the guide rail, and you can see here, if we go to the first area, we see that we have the chance here to select if we want to work with a single detection RFID read-write head. In this case, because it's for the guide rail, we don't need this. We just go directly into the configuration here and say, okay, the different guide rail units or parts I'm going to detect with my RFID read-write head, which I called the guide rail. So, and here is the RFID tag, and if it is the correct tag, we also want to indicate with this smart light indicator unit here, and that is what we are selecting here. Save this, and then let's go to the section B, and here it is about the transport stars, and here we need a single detection. So we first have to go in the first area here and say, okay, this RFID read-write head, which we call the transport star, this is what we want to use in single detection functionality. Save this, and then go to the specific areas. Okay, it is about 0.5 liter bottles, and we have different stars here. That means with a single detection, it is about the first tag we are going to check. Save this. And the second star is also possible, and we are using the same RFID read-write head, but a different tag for this. So that's it. If we go to the operator area now, go to the product selection and select the 0.5 liter bottles. This is the application which should run right now. We select this and start the configuration, and we see that for the first step, the change guide rail, there is no exchange part detected right now, and we can go a bit closer to the RFID tag, and we see, okay, this is the correct part. Then we go to the next step, and this is about replacing the different stars, and now we can read in again. This is the correct exchange part here, and the next step is the second one, and this is also the correct star. So if we finish this and go to the monitoring area, so now the application is running, and if we create an error right now, that means the RFID read-write head is not detecting the correct guide rail anymore. We see that we will get immediately an error, which is indicated by the smart light or here with the monitor. And if we go closer to the tag again, then this error will disappear. And if we move the RFID read-write head back from the other tags, you see that nothing will happen because this is a single detection. It's only necessary to read in these tags only one time and then use the tools in the application, and you are not getting any error if you don't see the tag anymore. That is the difference between the single detection and the permanent detection. Okay, this was about the new features and the update and license procedure. And may you know that we have already other videos, other sessions about the guided changeover solution, which is about the solution itself, how to get it, how to work with the operator area, how to create recipes, how to configure the hardware and all these kind of things. Please have a look at these sessions as well. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact Balluff directly. Thank you very much.